York Times has reported that some 500 crew members had been partially in concrete evidence that will stand up to scrutiny that we can verify. .com/NPR. Donate. This will only get worse. Montana Public Radio's Aaron Bolton reports.
Federal inspectors at the Montana State Hospital in the small town of Warm Springs in February.
Said before getting on Air Force One this afternoon that they're, quote, making that decision now about whether and who to...
Or what caused a massive fire aboard a Russian warship in the Black Sea?
Federal inspectors visited the Montana State Hospital in the small town of Warm Springs in February.
Necessarily coherent to any known extremist ideology. Here's Carla Hill. She's an extremism researcher.
Now in previews. Tickets at lct.org.
Extremists can be quite cohesive, explaining their ideology and be consistent.
Proposing ways to protect people. Sarah Mancini of the National Consumer Law Center says that's good. Having such an unreasonably high credit score that's required, it really
is. That kind of freedom of choice and of imagination, of trying things, of experimenting, you see. So I don't view myself as this kind of musician or that kind of musician.
I was troubled by what I heard. While it did not yet seem that he had made an irreversible decision to invade Ukraine, Putin was defiantly leaning in that direction, apparently convinced.
Well, the Ukrainians have fought also. But Burns said he thinks that over time, Putin has really just stopped taking advice. And
This is John Patitucci, who organized this weekend's.
This has led him to make some very bad decisions.
His circle of advisors has narrowed, and in that small circle,
Previously unsolvable problems. See through
his judgment or his stubborn, almost mystical belief that his destiny is to restore.
potential, but he says it needs to be transformed. He's been a public critic of Twitter, made his offer in a filing with the U.S. Security.
Russia's war on Ukraine could have consequences across many continents.
From NPR News,
The system. 10 people were shot and 20 more were wounded during Tuesday's attack. All the victims are expected to...
Burns delivered a rare public speech today and pulled back the curtain just to...
Cost of the food, but is the food even going to be there if farmers are...
Before the Ukrainian war, we were already seeing a spike in fuel.
On all public transportation